How's it going, Giants fans? Welcome back to Fireside Giants with your boys, Alex and Anthony. Not some good news today, my friends. I mean, it's not Victory Monday. There are some silver linings I'd like to discuss in a little bit. But, first and foremost, I want to address the biggest injury news that we could have feared to hope for. And now we're staring at a really bad situation in the wide receiver core, if you haven't noticed. Wan'Dale Robinson tore his ACL. That is the news that shattered me this morning. As you guys know, I'm a big Wan'Dale Robinson fan. Have been, pretty consistently this season. I've been really big advocate for him. Had 100 yards yesterday on I think 6 receptions. He looked really, really sharp yesterday. Finally, the Giants seemed to get him involved and were using him correctly. And it kind of looked a little bit like that Saquon injury. Like two guys like jumped on his back trying to tackle him, and that right leg just too much pressure on it. And the MetLife turf in as another variable, and there goes another ACL. And, Wan'Dale out for the rest of the year. Hopefully he will be able to return for next season. Definitely the opener of 2023 is definitely in question for Wan'Dale right now, I'd say. Him and Sterling Shepard will likely be working side by side, rehabilitating that ACL. So at least, he'll have a buddy to go through that process with. And, maybe Shepard can help him a little bit, having, experience a little bit more than him in terms of the injury department. So we'll see what happens on that end, but devastating news. We're going to talk about the wide receiver core, what that looks like right now, this team, and, a couple silver linings just to get some positivity into the mix in this episode, Anthony. But how you doing today, my friend? And, how you feeling about the Wan'Dale news?
I'm doing okay. Obviously not feeling good about the Wan'Dale news. Not feeling good about missing out on a victory Monday. It's a losing Monday. Not a happy feeling, right? Especially considering the Giants went into that game as favorites for the first time in weeks. It seems like every week the Giants are underdogs. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that the Giants are a very injured team. They can't stop suffering injuries, especially playing on that MetLife Stadium turf. That needs to be fixed. I know they said that they're going to change it out with some new artificial grass next season, but I don't know, man. Maybe they should just get real grass and put an end to the injuries. This Wan'Dale Robinson loss is a huge one. He was our leading receiver in yesterday's matchup. First time, I think, in a long time that the Giants have had a receiver eclipse 100 receiving yards. Dude was playing great. He's been great all season. His role has been ever expanding week after week, and now his season is cut short. It's so mightily disappointing, disheartening. I really feel for the kid. I know that he is a player who plays with a lot of heart, and he was, drafted in the second round, total surprise pick for the Giants there, and he was called upon to do a lot in his rookie season as he worked his way back into the lineup from an injury, and then immediately, as soon as he starts to get that groove, ripped right out of the lineup with another injury. It's heartbreaking, and I feel for him. And again, it's a very late season injury, so who knows when he returns? Could be midway through next season. Hopefully not. But now the Giants are sitting here. Wide receiver is a massive need for the team right now and next season. Going into the 2023 offseason, I'm pretty sure that this is going to be our top need to address in the offseason. So that's probably looking too far ahead. But right now, the Giants need to figure something out. They're probably going to have to remodel the offense once again, probably get back to being a run-heavy team. But teams are catching on to that. So you're going to have to rely a lot on Daniel Jones down the home stretch of this season as the Giants attempt to push their way into and through the playoffs. So it's kind of leaving the Giants in a little bit of limbo right now on the offensive side of the ball with no wide receivers, healthy and very talented and able to contribute. Thank God Darius Slayton is still out there, but you really just kind of sit here as a Giants fan, hold your breath, hope that we don't suffer any more injuries, and hope that the Giants are able to find some low-key acquisition to bolster this wide receiving core and push us into the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, look, here's the thing, okay? You mentioned it before. Why we don't play on grass is a big thing. And, a lot of people keep, saying to me and other people on social media, whatever it might be, that, it's not the turf. It's just the wear and tear, it's the ligaments, and any surface could create that type of injury. And yes, that is true. Saquon Barkley got injured on grass, but I'll tell you what, you can't argue. You can't argue. You can argue with me, but are you going to argue with the 100 players that came out last week saying that they cannot be playing on this anymore? Are you going to go and say that to them? Or are you only going to say that to us? You know what I mean? Go say it to them. They're the ones playing on it. They're the ones saying we cannot play on this shit turf anymore. It can't be. It just can't happen. Our bodies cannot handle it. You're putting us in dangerous positions. We're missing time. It's affecting the quality and product of the game. You know what I mean? It's not just us saying that it's the MetLife shit turf. It is the players. Julian Love, a captain on this team, came out and said last week, they need to change it. It's not sustainable for our bodies. Okay? Don't listen to me. Listen to the players. They're the ones actually playing it, okay? So second thing, why the fuck does Jerry Jones have a mall as basically a boat? Why does he have a mall for a boat and we can't play on freaking grass? You know what I mean? This is a ridiculous argument that we have to have every week. It pisses me off because these owners just shoveling in money. They're floating on their freaking mansion boats and they're sitting in their cashmere fucking chairs. But meanwhile, the players have to play on this artificial turf that is obviously affecting their game. They're clear about that. They are saying it. If you don't want to listen to me, go listen to them. Again, this is ridiculous that we're not playing on grass. Every other sport has with high impact cutting. Soccer's not the same because you're looking at you're not getting tackled. You're not doing as many quick cuts and whatnot. But you don't see anywhere close to the amount of soft tissue ligament injuries in that game. And they're running for 90 minutes straight. They're not running for 15. Football games are actually 15 minutes of total action. 3-hour games condensed into 15 minutes of action. Yet we have more injuries than you could ever freaking imagine. Okay, it just pisses me off because they could do so much more to protect these players, to put them in a spot where the quality of the game is maintained, and they refuse to because they want fucking malls on the water, okay? This is what pisses me off personally. I'm sorry for the language, but it really gets on my nerves. And at the end of the day, the quality of what we have to watch, this Giants season is probably ruined because of that. We were 7-2 going into this game. You look at all Sterling Shepard, Darian Beavers, Marcus McKethan, now Wan'Dale Robinson, all torn ACLs, all on turf, okay? You can't work around that. This is just the reality of the situation, and it pisses me off because we have to deal with it. And now we're 7-3, and we're staring down a Dallas team on a short week on Thanksgiving, where I just want to eat my fucking mashed potatoes, and I don't want to watch the Giants play. You know what I mean? I don't want to be pissed off for Thanksgiving this year. You know what I mean? It's really just pissing me off, and I don't want to watch the game anymore because I know they just destroyed. If you watched the Dallas game last night, they made Minnesota look like a peewee football team. Okay, we are probably going to get crushed on Thanksgiving. We have practice squad players across the board, guys that are injured, guys that are banged up. Adoree Jackson, we still don't know what happened to him. We're using our top cornerback as a punt returner. Like, come on. We beat ourselves up here. We did this to ourselves. The turf, not doing what's good enough for the players. I don't know what the athletic training staff is doing, and they deserve some blame as well because we've had every player have an MCL sprain this year. What is that about? I have no idea why every single player on this Giants team has an MCL sprain. It doesn't make any sense to me. But now we see Adoree Jackson. The MRI came back clean, or rather the X-ray came back clean, but the MRI is still, processing. We still have to see what happens there. So it pisses me off across the board. And I just want this Giants team to be great. I want the league to put them in a position where we can see good quality football and not have to go into Thanksgiving knowing that we're going to get crushed by our freaking arch rivals because, our team just can't stay healthy and it really sucks. But end of the day, this is the situation that we kind of face right now. And I'll tell you what, I'm still confident in this team. This is the first year of a rebuild. We have a lot of positions we're going to have to address. As you mentioned before, wide receiver is probably the number one position we have to look at right now. If you're looking at the draft, first round, I can't imagine it's not a receiver. You know what I mean? I can't imagine they don't look at a receiver. If they're going to stay with Saquon Barkley, they're going to stick with Daniel Jones. I mean, here's the problem. The Giants have so many holes, they can't afford to be opening up new ones, right? They can't afford to be getting rid of Daniel Jones. They can't afford to get rid of Saquon because then you have a hole at running back and you have a hole at quarterback and you don't know where to go from there. We have to solve offensive line pieces still. We have to solve multiple wide receiver positions. We're going to cut Kenny Golladay for sure. We should extend Darius Slayton with the way he's playing. He's the only guy that has rapport with Daniel Jones at this point in time. We have a linebacker. I mean, for goodness sake, we need linebacker support so badly. We need a cornerback too. I don't trust Aaron Robinson anymore. Adoree Jackson, I trust. You look at the defensive line, we could probably use a little bit more support and depth there. I mean, safety, Xavier McKinney obviously is our primary guy. Julian Love, Dane Belton. I feel good about those, especially if we retain Love, which I think we will. But we need a lot more cornerback support. I mean, Fabian Moreau, Nick McLeod, and Cordell Flott are definitely not my top choices by any means. So, Anthony, when you're looking at this right now, just the state of this team, how do we finish this season? You know what I mean? Like, we're just decimated by injury. And I know I'm being negative for the record, but I'm more pissed off than upset for that. I'm not really upset. I'm just pissed off about the things that have happened to this team and the luck that we go through on a yearly basis. Like, we had such a nice little run of wins and success and excitement, and that was really awesome. And then all for it in 1 week. In 1 week, it just felt like it completely flipped. and everything just changed direction. And that really scares the shit out of me because I feel all those emotions I felt the last couple of years watching Shermer's team and Joe Judge's team. And like, I don't want to go back to that. I don't think we're heading in that direction, but I still feel that pain. And I know you guys do too. And that's kind of why I'm emotional about it right now. But Anthony, when you're looking at this team, bring some life back here because, there is positives to take a look at here because I just need to hear something good.
Yeah, it's tough when you call upon me to be the positive guy. I feel like I'm usually the more negative guy on this show, but I think that it's important not to become a prisoner of the moment, Alex, and not to get too caught up because I know we're saying it feels like the script just flipped, right? Because yesterday's game, the Giants go in as the favorites, suffer a bunch of injuries, get out coached by Dan Campbell and lose that game. Yes, it's a disheartening loss. It was a really tough performance to watch, particularly from the Giants coaching staff, which we haven't said a whole lot this year. But keep that in mind, Alex. We haven't said that a whole lot this year. All year, we've been praising Brian Daboll, Mike Kafka, and that staff because they've done an excellent job and they led the Giants to a 7-2 start in a rebuilding year. We say that all the time. This was supposed to be a rebuild year. Most people had the Giants going 4-13, winning 4 to 5 games, 6 at the most. Giants already have 7. Okay. This is a win. This season, in the whole outlook of things, the grand scheme of things, this season is a big W for the Giants. This was a victory for them. Brian Daboll set a new culture. He fixed things. And being a prisoner of the moment right now, yes, this was a disheartening loss. This is easy to be pissed off from. You should be pissed off when your team loses, especially in that fashion. But we go into Thanksgiving, the Giants somehow pull out a win on Thanksgiving Day against the Cowboys. You're going to be prisoner of the moment, and you're going to be saying Giants to the playoffs. Giants are going to make some noise in the playoffs. It'll be the same thing. The script will flip once again if the Giants go ahead, march into Philly later this year and get a win, right? So it's hard to not to get caught up in this and be really frustrated, especially considering how used to losing we have been over the past 6 years. I mean, the Giants haven't made the playoffs since 2016, haven't had a winning record since 2016. For the first time in 6 years, it looks like they have an opportunity to finish the season with a winning record. Now, they're really close. I mean, they got to get 3 more wins on the year, and they're a winning team. And they're, like I said, very close to achieving that goal in a rebuilding year. So try not to become a prisoner of the moment, get too caught up into the fact that the Giants, yes, they just lost a game that they should have won, and they have a lot of injuries. It's hard to see how this season can end positively for New York when you look at this long list of injuries. I mean, even Evan Neal, first round pick that we were really excited and hasn't seen the field in quite some time. Azeez Ojulari, we thought this was his breakout year, hasn't seen the field in a very long time. So I understand the frustrations, and I feel those frustrations as well. I'm very frustrated with all of the injuries, the recent losing from the Giants, even the game against Seattle. I haven't forgotten about that one. That was just an implosion on special teams. And I'm not forgetting the fact that the Giants can't top 30 points, but eventually they will. And I believe that they will because of Brian Daboll. I think that he has the ability to coach this team to success, get them into the postseason, and try to make some noise. They've got a very experienced staff. Yes, it's a rookie offensive coordinator and a rookie head coach, but these are guys who have been in intense playoff games, AFC championship games, Super Bowl games. You have Wink Martindale, one of the best defensive coordinators in the NFL for the past 6 years. Okay. So the Giants, I'm trying not to become a prisoner of the moment for what just happened with them in this loss against the Lions. I'm disheartened by the loss. You know, it was a tough one, but it happens, okay? And it even happens to the best of the best football teams. You don't think Philly fans were starting to freak out last week when they lost to Washington? They were, man. They freaked out. That was a really tough loss for them. Then they bounced back the next week, got a win. Who's to say that the Giants don't shock the world on Thanksgiving Day? Dallas just played a great game against Minnesota, got a clutch win, but that doesn't mean that they're going to keep the ball rolling. This happens. It's any given Sunday in the NFL. That's what we know. Giants fans should know that better than anybody, considering we are the franchise that knocked off an 18-0 Super Bowl team, right? 18-1. That is our biggest achievement ever from the New York Giants. So it's, again, try not to become a prisoner of the moment. That was a very positive speech from me. I'm very proud of myself right now for being the positive, lighthearted guy. But again, just keep in mind, guys, like, yeah, this Giants team, it is decimated by injuries, but at least Saquon's still out there healthy. He's running hard. It wasn't his best game, but he'll bounce back. Daniel Jones is playing the best football of his life. Take away those 2 interceptions. You're talking about, I mean, he threw for the most passing yards that he has in a single game all year. He threw a touchdown. He ran for a touchdown. He looked good for the majority of that game. Julian Love nearly had a pick, looked good for a lot of that game. Kayvon Thibodeau had a great pass breakup. If the Giants win that game, we're talking about Kayvon Thibodeau in a positive light. It's very easy to to run the narrative with the winning or the losing. But right now, the Giants, they're just focused on one game at a time, and they're focused on getting this roster in shape for 4 days from now when they travel to Dallas and they play on Thanksgiving, and hopefully run over to that sideline, eat some big turkey legs after a nice win. And I'm hoping to see that happen. I'm trying to remain positive because I don't want to ruin my Thanksgiving before it gets started. My favorite holiday, it's food and it's football. How could you not love that freaking holiday? That is perfect, right? So I'm hoping that the New York Giants get a win. I'm going to remain positive, be that mascot for the Giants right now, and hope to see Saquon Barkley feast on the football field. And while I feast off the football field and enjoy a Giants win on Thursday, I'm trying not to be too negative, trying to be that positive guy right here. Again, I get it. The injuries suck. Losing sucks. But keep in mind, guys, we're 7-3. We have a great record. And Brian Daboll has shown that he knows how to coach this team well to get them to win games. So I'm not losing hope just yet. I'm going to remain positive until we're eliminated from the playoffs if that happens. But I don't think it will. I believe that the Giants are still going to be a playoff team this year.
Well, thank you for helping to walk me off the cliff there. But it's I have to say Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday as well. It's arguably my favorite holiday, mainly the food. It's just a perfect holiday, and what makes it better is not having to potentially lose a game. Honestly, I don't really like it when the Giants play on Thanksgiving because I just like to enjoy and not have to really worry. Especially as our team continues to rebuild here. But hey, if they go and they beat Dallas with the state of this roster, our future is bright as hell. You know what I mean? That's just a simple fact. But you know what, guys? It's a long season ahead. We still have a lot of games left. I've definitely voiced my displeasure, voiced my anger, and not so much about what the Giants are doing, but just the unluck and this in the field and the turf. And that's really where my anger lies. I'm not angry at Brian Daboll. I love Brian Daboll. I'm not angry at Kafka. I think he's a new play caller. We were going to see ups and downs with him, but I think we've seen a lot more positive in terms of modernizing this offense than negatives, especially given we don't have any receiving talent for the most part, and we don't have Daniel Bellinger, and we don't have Ben Bredesen right now, or Evan Neal, who might be able to return on Thursday. So we're down a lot of pieces, but end of the day, we've seen a lot more positives than negatives. So that's something to harp on. That is something to be appreciative of and something to acknowledge. But guys, I'd love to hear your perspectives below in the YouTube comments, as always, on the Wan'Dale injury, on the status of this team. A lot to discuss, and the big silver lining is Andrew Thomas once again did not give up a pressure over 52 pass blocking snaps. Dude is absolutely elite. He's a monster. We love him, and maybe we'll look at him this week and take a look at his pass blocking snaps and what he did against that Detroit Lions defense. But as I said before, make sure to drop your comments below. Make sure to like, subscribe, as always. Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll catch you guys on the next Fireside Giants episode.